Hey everyone, I hope you all are really doing good. So, welcome back to my channel Priyanka's Education Videos, and today's topic is going to be articles. So, before jumping into the topic, let us discuss few points about articles. Okay, so articles, if you are familiar with them, then you might have come to an understanding that these articles are really very necessary for building up of a sentence. So we need to place these articles properly to make a sentence which really completes the sentence, or without which the complete frame of the sentence will be disturbed if you don't know how to use these articles. So yes, they are that important. So don't you think that we need to know how to use the articles, when to use, and which article has to be used? Yes, it is really important to understand all these points. It looks very easy. Okay, it is a very simple topic, and we literally know how to use and when to use. But if you go through certain details about the articles, then we'll be pretty confident how exactly these articles should be used. So I hope uh, with these few points we must come to we should know that yes, we should know about the topic, or we should know how important these articles are and how they have to be used. So shall we start with the video, or shall we start with the topic? Yes, come on. Now, by definition, or by the way these articles are used, articles are the words used before nouns. Yes, these articles are placed before the nouns. Okay, so what are the words used as articles? I hope many of you know the words used as articles. Yes, so let us once again know about them. Words used as articles are a, an, and the. Yes, you must be confident now that words used as articles are a, an, and the. So, by looking at these words, we just simply consider them as okay. We literally know about them and we can easily use them. But trust me, we need to understand about them clearly and precisely before they are placed before the nouns. Okay, okay. So we should know when the article must be used. Okay, so as in the definition we read as, or the articles were defined as, articles are the words used before nouns. So don't you think that before using an article, we need to understand the nature of the noun? Yes, guys, don't you think so? As we are using the articles before nouns, we need to understand the nature of the noun. So, here, uh, under the heading of when to use articles, there are few points that has to be considered. So out of which the first point is as simple as that, as because we are using these articles before nouns, we have to definitely know the nature. We have to definitely understand the nature of the noun. So the first point is done. So we need to understand the nature of noun. before which the article has to be placed. Now, next, when you understand the nature of the noun, we will definitely understand whether we should use the article or not. It is very obvious, isn't it? So, yes, we have come to know, we understood, our little brain, which does many activities, has come to an understanding that yes, we know the nature of the noun. Then obviously we will get to know which article, whether we should use article or not. And eventually, when you understand that whether we should use the article or not, if yes, which article has to be used, yes or no? If the article is necessary, out of the three articles which have been mentioned in the previous slides, which are a, and the, out of those three, which article has to be used? Obviously, we made the third point. So here comes the third point. Which article is appropriate? Yes, obviously, which article is appropriate or which article has to be used. So let's go to the next slide. So there are few more points to be considered. Choosing the correct article. So under this category, what points have to be considered? Let us quickly get into those points. Whether or not noun is countable. So in the previous slide, we were trying to know when to use articles. So before using the article, we were trying to understand the nature of the noun. We were speaking about the nature of noun. So when you are considering that noun, so that noun has to be checked with whether the noun is a countable or a plural, or it is a singular noun or a plural noun, and also whether the noun is definite noun or it is indefinite. That means whether the noun is properly defined or not, with some kind of adjectives, or what sort of specificity is being mentioned about the noun. So you need to understand those things before using the correct article, before choosing the correct article. So the point which I was talking about just before, that whether the noun is countable and also whether the noun is definite or indefinite. Okay, and now if the noun is plural, an article may not be necessary. That also depends on the condition. If the noun is plural, an article may not be necessary, but in some conditions, even if it is a plural noun, if suppose in that sentence, even if it is a plural and it is being defined properly with some specificity or some kind of adjective is added upon, even if it is a plural noun, then if it has got some definite sense, then the article may be necessary. But generally, if you consider in general sense, if you consider if the noun is plural, an article is generally may not be necessary. Okay, now one more condition has been mentioned here. If the noun has a number, determiner or a possessive, an article is not required. So in this condition also, an article is not required. So let us go with the examples. Okay, here if you see the examples, few examples have been quoted here. I bought a book. Okay, here the book which is being mentioned is a singular and it is a countable noun. So it has got a in front of it. So in this sentence, book is a noun and which has got an article a. So here you must understand that the book here is singular and also it is a countable noun, and in this condition we are using article a. Okay, please try to understand. I mean, if you go through the sentences, there itself you will understand in which conditions or in which context what kind of articles have been used. Okay, then you will be very clear, or you will be very confident later on. You will be very confident about the usage of articles. Now in the next sentence, the book I bought is interesting. So here you might ask me a question that here the book again is a noun and again it is a singular noun. Then why you are using article the? So here if you look at the noun book, it is properly defined. In this case, the book which is being referred is mentioned as interesting, and also here some specificities have been mentioned. Either the book you bought has been referred, and also it is also been added upon with an adjective interesting. It is properly defined with some specificity. Okay, it is not randomly mentioned that I bought a book. Here they have not given any kind of specificity. So in that context article a is used, and in the second sentence wherein you are mentioning that it is being mentioned that the book I bought is interesting. Here the book again is singular, countable, but so okay, before we have mentioned that if it is a singular countable, obviously we should use article. But here the speciality of this sentence is we know which book you are referring to, so it is taking the definite article, or as it is the definite noun article the is used. Okay, let's go to the third sentence, that is I like the books you gave me. So here I like the books. Even books is a plural noun and it is used in a definite sense. We know here which books, the books you gave me. Okay, so again it is taking the definite article, that is the. So through my conversation or through my explanation, you might have come to an understanding that article the is being used in definite sense. That is why you can also mention article the as a definite article. Next sentence, I like books. Here books is also a plural noun. It is but in this sentence it is being used in a general sense. So as we mentioned before that generally plural nouns don't plural, in case of plural nouns articles may not be necessary, because here it has been mentioned generally, or books have been taken as generally, so nothing is specific about the books, so that is why we are not using any article. Now the next sentence is blood is thicker than water. Blood and water are singular uncountable nouns, so they are used in the general sense, so obviously they do not need an article. They are singular but they are even if they are singular, they are, if you consider blood and water, whether we should also consider whether they can be counted or not. So straight away, as they are not countable, or they cannot be, I mean, they are measured in a different way, here there is no necessary to use the articles. Next is, I bought 2 books. You do not need an article here because before the noun the word to is being placed, so properly the number has been given there. In the next example also the same is happening. I bought some books, as because we are using to and some there, so obviously there will be no need of article. Okay, I hope it's clear. So let's go to the next slide. Now in the previous, before when we were considering the points to be considered, wherein it was mentioned that articles may not be necessary when you have a number or a possessive or a determiner before the nouns. So these are the examples related to those that point. So our house, so here you do not need an article because you already have the possessive. So possessive is our this year you do not, so in this condition also you are, there is no need to use an article. You do not need an article because you already have the determiner this. Next is car. You may need an article because this is a singular countable with no determiner. Next, trees are usually green. So no article, so in this sentence no article is required because you are generally talking about the trees and the noun is not definite. The trees in the park are green here. So in this sentence here the article is required because in this context we are specifically mentioning about which trees. We are mentioning the trees in the park. So some definity or specificity has been mentioned. So article the is used. So by this time you might have understood that in which context articles a is being used and in which context article the has been used. Okay, so based on their usage, these articles are coming under 2 categories: indefinite articles which are comprised of a and an. So how they are used, just let us understand. Indefinite article is used when the noun is singular and countable, and if it is the first time you are mentioning. So just let us go through the examples. So I bought a car. Here also, like in case of I bought a book, here also I bought a car. So here we do not know anything about the car. So generally it is being mentioned and it is the first time in the we are just randomly saying for the first time that so in that context article a is used. So in the next sentence there is a cow outside. Here also we do not know anything about the cow. Now measurements and rates also use indefinite articles, like example twice a day or twice a week, once in a year. So in that way. So if the noun starts with the vowel sound, I hope many of you, maximum, we generally know that in which case article an is used. So when the noun starts with the vowel sound, the article an is used. An apple, an orange, an umbrella. If the noun starts with the consonant sound, then the article a is used. A school, a university. Now, definite article. So obviously based on its usage, based on the way it is being used or placed before the type of noun. So in case of definite nouns, or the nouns which have been properly mentioned with some explanation, or something they have been referred to, or so in that cases only we are using a definite article the. So if the noun is properly defined and the reader or listener understands about what you are talking, then the definite article the is used. So I bought a book last week. So here in this sentence, if you understand, here it's been mentioned that I bought a book last week. So if it is for the first time, then article a is used. Now in the next sentence, the book is about food. So we know that the book was about food. So article the is used. I went to a wedding yesterday, and the bride wore a lovely sari. So again, in few special aspects or certain aspects like decades, currencies, superlatives, ordinals, oceans, seas and rivers, uh, plural or united countries, adjectives used as nouns, many organizations, a scientific categorization, and in case of a symbol, article the is used. Unique people, places or things. In this context also, article the is used. So I hope the video is clear, and uh, you might have come to an understanding exactly in a simple way. This is just a brief of how the articles should be used and where exactly they have to be placed in, before what kind of nouns and what articles has to be used precisely. I have given a brief explanation about these all aspects. I hope it is clear to understand. Thank you for watching.